I don't trust politicians. I don't want to listen. I don't trust their visions. Oh, I don't trust politicians. I don't want to listen.
So apparently Russia has been advancing in the fastest way that they have been since the start of the conflict. No surprise here. I actually said something along the lines because of the really simple things that are out there. The production, upkeep, and how they were making these factories. Of course, the reactions from the United States and our allies as far as prepping up their borders. I said there's got to be something more coming. Of course, everybody is now under the belief that in just about a month, everything is going to be solved. But I don't think that the people that are currently in charge are going to try to let that happen. They say that Russia has been advancing in Ukraine the fastest they have been since the start of the February 2022 conflict. Russian forces are advancing in Ukraine the fastest rate since the early days of 2022 invasion, taking an area half the size of London over the past month. Now, I don't know how big London is because I've never been there. But from the comments below some of the posts, it seems to be a giant area. The war is entering what some Russian and Western officials say could be its most dangerous phase of Moscow's forces made some of their biggest territorial gains, and the United States allowed Kiev to strike back with U.S. missiles. Quote, Russia has set new weekly and monthly records for the size of the occupied territory in Ukraine. That was according to independent Russian news group Ajazvenso said in a report. It said that the Russian army captured almost 235 square kilometers or 91 square miles in Ukraine over the past week, a weekly record for 2024. Russian forces had taken 600 square kilometers or 232 square miles in November. It added sighting data from Deep State. I'm not kidding. A group with close links to the Ukrainian army that studies combat footage and provides frontline maps. I'm not kidding you. Its name is Deep State. Man, the naming department is smoking something. And then Russia began advancing faster, or it's a horrible joke. Russia began advancing faster in eastern Ukraine in July as the Ukrainian forces carved out a sliver, I like how they describe that, of its western region of Kursk. Since then, the Russian advance has accelerated according to open source maps. Now, one thing to keep in mind here, Russia was not using their major military. They were not using their badass military. And I'm not saying they're badass. I'm saying military-wise, Russia has a formidable military. The U.S. has never really underestimated Russia for their military prowess because that's one of the few reasons that they are a superpower among the second, which is nuclear weapons. But no one has really poo-pooed them up until 2022. Before that, people actually respected the bear, and they said, don't poke the bear, right? As far as their military, it's a pretty formidable force. Now, what have Ukrainian soldiers been fighting? Something else. Up until even just recently, now they're fighting North Korean soldiers that have never been battle-tested. Before that, they were fighting a lot of conscripts. They were pulling conscripts off the street and out of jails in Russia and putting them right on the front lines. A general just recently said, it was either a general or an admiral of the U.S. military, said that they have not used almost any of their actual military. So they've been saving the best for last. And honestly, you can see that it's starting to come out. With the timing of everything and with the timing of our presidential switch here, I am hoping that this does not become exponential. Because if we see this moving very, very fast and it just keeps going up and up and up, we're going to see a massive escalation. That is why you're seeing all of these hints that UK and France are already talking about possibly joining. In my mind, it is just a matter of time before UK and France and all of the other allies start jumping in. And we're talking about NATO hopping right into this war. We're going to talk about this and much, much more on tonight's show. You can't miss tonight because we're going to be updating on some of the subjects from last night, and we are going to be talking about everything that just went down in the last 24 hours. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough.
I don't wanna listen. I don't trust their vision. Oh, I don't trust politicians. I don't wanna listen. I don't trust their vision. Oh, I don't trust politicians.
All right, we got a lot to go over in a short amount of time. Remember, if you go over to marfooglenews.com, you can find a full bibliography of every single article, tweet, video, picture, document we're going to talk about here today. Over there, you will find you have a source for every story. And, of course, on the right, you'll see all of the different affiliates. These affiliates are basically the products that we believe in, and we think that will either save your life or get you through a disaster or make you comfortable through one. Mind you, we're completely independent. We're on our own. So that is the reason you will see some of the in-baked our advertisements. These only prosper us. They don't prosper some big corporation or some multi-channel network. So, again, thank you guys for supporting. But more so, thank you for sharing out our stuff. Appreciate it. All right. And then let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex James. What is going on? How are you doing?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Fugle fam. I'm doing just fine.
All right, so let's get back into, obviously, Russia's moving forward, and then we have China could launch military drills near Taiwan over the president's palace, Pacific visit.
On the Russia one, on the Russian one, Adam, real quick, it almost seems like they know that the change is coming, and if the change is coming and there may be a settlement with the Don, so to speak, are they rushing in? Are the Russians rushing to get as much land as possible to make it easier to negotiate on their part, as well as to have as much land captured? Maybe this is the final blitz, so to speak, before the end. I don't know.
So no. Good point. Because if you've seen some of the interviews of what even the Ukrainians think on the street, they believe that the Don will come in, negotiate, and they will give a chunk of Ukraine back to Russia. They believe the way that they'll achieve peace is that they'll give a straight up, quarter or a chunk of Ukraine back to Russia, some of the Russian-speaking parts, and then they'll all say, we're good. If Russia goes in, which is a really great point, if they go in and take a bunch of that land, it would be a lot easier to say, hey, we're already controlling this land. Give us what we already have, and we'll call it good on the rest. That is a good point. And then as far as the Pacific visit from the Taiwanese president, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, certainly. So actually this, I believe it is Lai Ching-te, which is the president of China, who's going to be making, get this, a trip to different territories. Lai will start a visit to Taipei's 3 diplomatic allies in the Pacific on Saturday. Said he was planning stops in Hawaii, the U.S. territory of Guam, and a sensitive trip shortly somewhere else that he's going to. But here's the thing. They're saying they're going to potentially start drills, military drills, China will, when their president, and this is President Lai Ching-te, somebody we don't talk much about because Xi always has the spotlight when it comes to China. But that's what they're saying. And that they're going to start these drills up potentially. So Beijing could conduct military maneuvers around or shortly after Lai's trip, which ends on December 6th. Said 4 officials in the region briefed on the matter who declined to be identified because of the sensitive nature of the topic.
So, and what is Xi's title? Is he emperor or what? What the hell is his title again? Supreme. Ayatollah has supreme leader. What is Xi Jinping's official title? Because we always call him the president of China, right? But they don't really. They have a. Now I'm a bit confused. So what is?
Well, okay, maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe it is Taiwan, but I read it. He is so Lai Ching-te is the president of the Republic of China, which that's why I got it wrong. Sorry. The Republic of China is Taiwan. Xi Jinping is the People's Republic of China, which is the CCP. So,
well, I don't think we recognize Lai Ching at all, because is this the new person that stepped in?
I think it's the new one.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I've never even read that name. I think this has got to be because we haven't seen many articles.
He's a Taiwanese politician. I'm looking it up. Yeah, and so, but it does say current president of Republic of China.
So did he replace? Is Moon the South Korean one? I'm thinking of South Korea. The woman was Taiwanese president, right? Wasn't she? Now I'm super confused. Yi Moon, gosh, we haven't really seen anything about this guy in Taiwan.
Yeah, Lai Ching is the one that I guess wasn't he the VP or something there with her at the time, and then he took from Tice, was it Tsai Ing-wen, or I can't remember her name.
Yep, and
exactly something like that. Yeah, he's the one that took it over. So I said it completely wrong because I just saw president of China, and I'm like, okay, well maybe she has a different title, but yeah, it was Republic of China versus the People's Republic of China.
Well, that's okay, but I'm wondering, this is the guy that they said might have. A lot of people questioned if he had ties back to China or something was going on with that. That they didn't know what the views were, because the woman president, she was definitely a separatist and said, we don't want any part of this. They said that Lai Ching-te is a separatist, but some people had their questions. So I really wonder what the hell is going on. I think that we're all of a sudden going to be seeing a huge event out of nowhere, and I'm just waiting. I'm not holding my breath for peace here.
Well, Adam, what do you think is going on, though, with his visit? So if he's going to Guam, of all places, in addition to Hawaii, he's probably there to get, some visuals or some reassurance on the support coming from the military there. He's getting the tour and like, hey, this is what we've got in line for you. Here's how we're going to defend you, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I'm guessing.
You know what? Dex, think about what they moved to Guam. They moved the Iron Dome to Guam. I wonder if they are bringing him there to say, hey, this is the system we want to give you. Watch this. This is my prediction, that Taiwan will get an Iron Dome system. Just throwing it out there. But that would also mean, if that was the true, in the thick of things, it would either happen really soon or the conflict would happen later. I bet you secretly he's there checking out the Iron Dome system, and they're saying, hey, we're working out some sort of financial deal with them, or maybe they'll buy it or something. I just wonder why Guam specifically quietly moved an Iron Dome system there. So it is a good question. And then Russia's acts of sabotage may lead NATO to invoking Article 5, says German intel chief. Now, remember, Germany has been in the thick of things a lot lately. Something is happening with this. Military members that have been deploying most recently, some of them have been going near Germany. So I'm just wondering what the hell is actually happening. Germany and many others, if we go back to the map, Germany and many others have been essentially beefing up all of their borders, their coastlines. Of course, we saw Finland and Poland. We saw, of course, others be, putting up dragon's teeth. You have, of course, Latvia and Estonia and Lithuania doing trenches and different fences and all sorts of different defensive measures. And now you, of course, have the German intel chief. Again, we can take everything with a grain of salt, especially somebody from Intel, saying that they may invoke Article 5. Russia's acts of sabotage against Western... And remember, what just happened, folks? Look at what they just pointed at. They said that the 2 underwater sea cables were this Chinese ship, and they believe it was by order of Russia. Dex, think about that. If they end up saying, oh, yes, this was definitely ordered by Russia, they tore up these underwater sea cables, point the finger at Russia, and then use that in their advantage of trying to get a war started before January. Does that make you wonder if that's the kind of narrative that's being piece by piece?
Certainly. I mean, right now they're finger pointing anything they can and stretching and or if not outright accusing anything they can to start up this conflict.
And Spliff Johnson asks, is it live? It is very much live. China said, try us and find out. Boxing Star, what's going on? Hey, Jammer, nice to see you. Spawn23, thank you for modding down there, Jammer. Same with Bobby Sue. I haven't seen Aaliyah yet. Hopefully you'll be here because this is a good one. Let's see here. Danielle, thank you. Preston, Justa, thank you for being here. Milosh Schaefer, nice to see you. Hey, Adam, nice to see you. Gemcat, love this program. Grateful for early time, especially living on the East Coast. We're trying. We are trying. At Ilea, nice to see you. Let's see here. LPFX, nice to see you. FAFO, yes. Yep, exactly. Well, we'll see. I guess we'll all see here soon. And I'm hoping we won't see in a very drastic way. And then Engineered to Succeed and Beans and Franks, nice to see you. Lucky Mac, nice to see you. Rhiannon S, hey! Of course, everybody drop an R in the chat for R, Rhiannon. Drop an R in the chat for Rhiannon. Of course, ran the Facebook group for years and years and years. Runs the Facebook group, so make sure to go say hello. Smoke and Swamp Outdoors, love always. Sean Zabat, in the kitchen with Grandma CC, thank you. Jupiter M Valentine, thank you. Love you guys. Chickens are cool. Howdy, Adam and crew. Nice to see you. Lori Steck, and so many more. All right, and yeah, the sabotage. There was an important part here, so I just want to point this out. This was a direct quote. It says the extensive use of hybrid measures, which they are talking about this whole underwater sea cable as a hybrid attack. They're talking about several events as a hybrid attack. Measures by Russia increases the risk of NATO will eventually consider invoking its Article 5 Mutual Defense Clause. It says, quote, at the same time, the increasing ramp-up of the Russian military potential means a direct military confrontation with NATO becomes one possible option for the Kremlin. Under Article 5, if a NATO member comes under attack, the other members of the alliance are obliged to help it respond. Now, these cables were going to different NATO members. So see how it's not about Ukraine. It's about a separate thing where they're attacking essentially infrastructure to NATO countries. We don't know exactly what the real story is, but we know what's being claimed. At first it was China. Now it's being pointed off that it was a Chinese ship ordered by Russia, which we just covered in that Marfoogle News short just a few minutes ago. So I have a stinking suspicion that something wrong is about to happen, and they're kind of spoon feeding us little by little. And then MePuppet007, thank you. Says shout out to the mods. Hey, thank you so much and appreciate that. Stephen McMahon, all things random. I believe I missed you last night. Thank you for your support in the super chat. Said thank you for providing us with up-to-date news. Appreciate that. All right, and then before we move on, make sure to go check out EMP Shield. I honestly believe that this will end up saving lives in the event of either an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse attack by any of our adversaries, a non-nuclear EMP, a backpack device, as you know, they've been warning by FBI and DHS, which very well could be FBI and DHS playing a hand. Who knows? Again, what will happen? But again, it will also protect you against a Carrington-level event from the sun. This device is easily wired into your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, pretty much anything that runs, including your gas-powered generators and your solar generators in the case of the Flex 1500 and the bug out as far as the new grid down units. Those are already wired in. Again, this will ground the signal in less than 500 trillionths of a second before it's able to fry your device. That means you're going to be able to drive home to see your family or drive out to bug out. So go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. And remember, right now is the Black Friday sale. So the Black Friday sales, again, we'll talk about at the very end. If you use this link, this will stack on top of their Black Friday. It is the best time, hands down. Of course, Black Friday being only in 2 days. It's crazy that we're almost to Thanksgiving. But again, make sure to utilize these sales while you can. marfooglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use the code MARF. That stacks our discount, $50 off per device on top of the Black Friday sale. All right. And then, Dex, let's talk about Tusk proposes Navy policing in the Baltic Sea.
Oh, wow. So this is going to get a little hairier now. So what they're suggesting, Poland is proposing a maritime policing program in the Baltic Sea. And it's not just Poland, but they want to do it in conjunction with their other neighbors there along the Baltic. So Lithuania and the rest up through there. So the Tusk called the plan a joint venture of countries located at the Baltic Sea, which have the same sense of the threat posed by Russia. And these were in his comments just today before heading out. The Polish Prime Minister's proposal comes obviously after the undersea infrastructure has been hit, and lots of other escalations have happened in Germany with the plane crash and the suspected incendiary devices that were on DHL airplanes prior to that.